So Standard Bank South Africa is a customer that we've been speaking with for 2 years or so now. And they're going to walk through a bit about themselves and then how they've built not only just 1 or 2 apps, but they've actually built a center of excellence focused on Power Apps. So with that, Machiel is going to introduce us to Standard Bank.
Okay, thank you, Zamir. So Vanessa and myself are part of the Office 365 adoption team. We're working for Standard Bank Group. Vanessa started out as a business analyst. She joined the team about a year ago. And she's focusing on Power BI and also Power Apps. Myself, I'm coming from a project server background, working on SharePoint as well. And my focus is mainly Flow and Power Apps. Okay, so just a little bit about Standard Bank. Standard Bank has been around for 155 years. They're employing about 55,000 employees, and we're servicing 50 million customers. Standard Bank is a financial services institution. We're in 20 different countries on the Africa continent and also abroad. And we're currently the biggest banking services institution on the Africa continent. So the growth of Africa is quite important for our strategy, and we always say that Africa's home, we drive for growth. I'm going to hand over to Vanessa now, and she will take us through the Power Apps journey.
Cool. Hi, Vanessa. Yeah. We don't have much room space, so you could be up front here and talk through it. Yep, and I'll ask you some questions from over here, and we can keep it going. Absolutely. Awesome. So you started with from 1 app to really creation of a center of excellence built around Power Apps. Yes. Tell us a bit about that journey.
Yeah. So our journey really started, and I'm going to fly, where am I flying over here? Yeah. There we go. So our journey really started with a very simple app, our ATM inspection app. This app you might have seen at the Ignite last year, but to give you a little bit of a history, the problem we were trying to solve here is our ATM auditors would have to visit each ATM across our network. And I think as a bank, you know, that's quite a vast network. So previously in the past, they'd have to go visit the ATM, identify if it needed cleaning, perhaps there's a fascia board that was broken, anything that required repair. This resulted in reams and reams of paperwork. They would manually write this down, and this needed to be collated and logged. This could take up to a week. So we had a brainwave, and we said, what if Power Apps could solve for this problem that we had? It was a really great experience. We sat with business, and within 24 hours, we were able to produce the first app, and we deployed it within the first week. It's a real success story for us because it's now being driven by business, as well as supported for business, by business. We have got 300 inspectors using the app, and they're logging plus 5,000 incidents on the app monthly. This truly shows that Power Apps can transform the way that we do business, and also how we set a model for ourselves for the many, many apps that came after this.
So, and this was demoed at Ignite last year.
Yes.
But the title of this session we said was going to be about enterprise adoption. So we're starting from 1 app.
Exactly.
And walk us through what happens next.
So what happens next? We have to focus on how do we get and build and scale this. So July marks my year anniversary with the Office 365 adoption team. We focus on being a center of excellence for staff digitization across the organization. I've had the privilege of seeing our numbers grow from 2 to 20. Just in the past 2 months, our numbers almost doubled. It's really great to see how, and if you can see it there, the vibrant and diverse team that I get to deal with on a daily basis. So our team is a multidisciplinary team. So we don't just focus on analysts, UX designers. We've got those with SharePoint backgrounds, database backgrounds, all in a big melting pot. Our experience we range from those that join us as graduates through the learnership program to those with many years of experience in the field. Personally, I'm from a business analysis background, and I'm not a developer by trade. The Power Platform really facilitated an easy learning experience for me to adopt and train others in growing this platform. My journey was an interesting one. 2 years ago, I joined a hack, as 3 business analysts always do, because that's what hacks are for, they're business analysts. And we had to use what we had on hand to build an app. So what we found was there's this thing called Power Apps, and within 24 hours, we not only had to build the app, but we also had to learn how to use Power Apps. And we did this and built a working app within 24 hours. So my true story is, if I can do it, so can you. As we see our team growing, there we go. No, you can go on, thank you. So a model that we applied across all the apps that we in our engagements is a very simple one. We like to keep it simple. So we focus on Power Apps as our app layer that we can capture data. Power BI being the layer where we visualize and present that data. Our business logic sitting with Flow as well as Azure. So Flow handling our approvals as well as where we send and use our data. Azure, we're looking at the logic apps as well as how we tap into cognitive services. Lastly, our data layer. At the moment, we are looking at ensuring that businesses are able to adopt this. So we stick with SharePoint online lists as well as SQL. But we are dabbling with more sophisticated data layers, but ensuring always that businesses are able to manage this for themselves in a very simple manner.
So how many apps do you have in production at the moment?
So we currently have just over 100 apps that our team has built and deployed in production. And this is being done not only by our team, but with business. And we're seeing many more apps coming through in the business lines. So we are currently working on our telemetry to ensure that we are making sure that what are these apps doing and where are their synergies. Because quite often, there's an app that you're building that a team over there, they need to use a very similar concept. So we like to ensure that we drive that communication, that sharing of knowledge and transfer of information.
And I know when we were chatting earlier, Vanessa, you had it's almost like you had this the other way around. And when we were chatting, you ended up describing this as, you didn't go out and have a plan and say, we need apps in these 8 or 10 categories and then go build the apps. It's like the apps came first and then the categories came next, which I found pretty interesting. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that piece. Yeah.
And I think it was a very organic way that we grew this. So we saw as each engagement is unique and everyone's business requirements are different. However, they're all very similar in a very interesting nature. So I'm not going to take you through all our categories, but just know that we've got ATM auditing apps. So let's look at auditing. ATM Auditor app, which I showed a little earlier, as well as an asset management app, which is sitting in our branches, allowing us to understand our real estate using barcode scanning. If I take a look at structured workflows, obviously with the incorporation of Office 365, we have to make sure that we understand privileged access management, as well as associating and allocating licenses. So we're not only creating apps for business, but we're also creating apps for IT to manage that business. If I look at automation, I could tell you guys stories for days on apps that we're creating, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Our insurance claims used to be done manually, which resulted in reams and reams of paperwork as well. We are now able to appify that and reduce those and ensure that we keep those leads and encourage new customers into the organization. Lastly, we're moving into our Azure services, and we're seeing hundreds of customers approaching us for bots. So we are slowly moving into not only playing with the apps, but also those Azure services to build our capabilities.
So I think one thing that I also found interesting as we were chatting is the apps, the way you're going about it is, it's not just IT building apps, it's IT enabling business to build apps for themselves. Can you walk us through, what does that process look like? Like flesh that out a little bit. If I came to you with an idea and said, this is my 101st idea, how do you go from idea to then actually getting it out and deploying? How do you evaluate that? Kind of walk us through that a little bit.
Sure. So with any engagement, it starts with a little bit of training. So we're not only focusing on the Power Platform as well as the Office 365 suite. So our first initial engagement is always around Office 365 and getting the art of the possible. So we look at the two in conjunction with one another. So how there are synergies that one can play off the other. We start with those engagements, and invariably business go, you can't build me an app in a day. So we decide to show them, let's sit with a whiteboard session, we sit with your business and we go and we identify what are your pain points. So it's not just what you believe you want to solve for, what are all the issues you're currently dealing with. So from a whiteboard session, we might identify small little quick wins that we can identify in the session and actually walk out the session with solutions. These don't have to be from the Power Platform. They might actually be across the Office 365 suite. Always keeping it simple. We ensure that when we do engage with business, we're training them along the way so that we can empower them along their journey. So we start with a very initial app where we say, we'll deliver the app as long as you join us for some training. We'll show you how you use and how you build this app. Slowly we take off the training wheels, allowing them to manage the app themselves, but they always know when to come home. Us as a Centre of Excellence are able to help support how do we improve the app, as well as how do we put in the correct guidelines to make sure that we're not encroaching on creating scalable or bigger apps that this is not probably made for. So to give you a little idea around digital guardrails, we don't do heavy integration, and our apps aren't meant to replace environmental systems. Our apps focus on meeting the gap where that environmental system is not always able to match up to. Also, we're always leveraging of Microsoft learnings and enforcing those back into our digital champions to make sure that they're able to learn from us, as well as us learning from a community that's putting this in practice and enforcing rules as well.
So, just to, I know Makiela is going to come up and demo one of your recent solutions. What are some of your takeaways? Like, you've been on this journey for a while now. You're kind of formalizing it more. You've got some systems in place to how you take an idea into production. You're starting to work with business teams. If I was someone that's earlier on in the journey, and maybe quick show of hands, who's earlier on prior to where Standard Bank is in their journey right now, roughly? Yeah. So about 80% of the room or so. The others can be on stage next year. I'd love to have them on. So if I was just getting started, what are some of your learnings and key takeaways that you could walk us through?
Sure. So I think first and foremost, this is not a journey for the faint-hearted. That's where I would start with. Not everybody is tech savvy. So I understand that there may be people within our business units that are able to drive the change. We've got to identify those people and make sure that we actually empower them, but also take the rest of us who are not as confident along for the journey. Security and compliance are always top of mind. Make sure that each of us act as a data steward to ensure that we keep client data safe, as well as our organizational integrity intact. We've been along for the journey for a very long time, and I think where we've come from, where there wasn't always capability within the app or within the Power Platform, we had some workarounds. What's really great with such a young application and platform, they're always changing and they're always bringing those new products in. So it's really great to see that it's always ever changing, and things that might not have been there in the past are now coming in. So we're able to go back on apps where we had alternative solutions and enforce the new ones. To give you a few examples, not only the Power BI tool, so our very first thought when we built our first app was, wouldn't it be great if we could incorporate Power BI into this Power app? Now you can. Another one is the attachment tool. So you're able to easily bring in attachments quite seamlessly. Success builds success, and we see that every day. We've got business units knocking on our door, asking for help, asking for us to build apps, and it's not just because of the great apps that we're building, great solutions that we're involved in, but it's also they're seeing their colleagues building apps, solutions that are being done in business by business. So that sees people coming back for more and more and more. Us as a centre of excellence, we want to focus on nurturing that and ensuring that we build up the capability within our organisation. You saw we're a very small team. That small team focuses on providing training for 55,000 people. Sometimes we're doing that one-on-one. Sometimes we're doing that in big groups. And I think the key for me here is take the challenge and take it little pieces at a time, but ensure you're always enforcing and empowering people.
Awesome. Thank you, Vanessa. And we'll hand over to Machiel, and we'll just switch machines here to walk us through a quick recent demo of one of your solutions.
I want to do the slides first, if you don't mind, please.
Let's go through that.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is just a before process of what was the issue of the guys from the financial statements. Previously, they submitted financial statements in all different formats. So there was Excel, they submitted by email. It was just in a Word template, and there was no consolidated repository to do reporting and stuff on. And when the auditors comes in, it's usually that they have to search around, where did I save this? Did I save it on desktop, or did I save it on one of the shared drives? And they came to us and asked, well, can you help us? So just the next one. So what we did for them, we used Flow and Power Apps, and I'm just going to go into the demo now, and I'll show you what we did. Let me just slide this over. Okay, so what we did for them is we created a flow. So all the flow does, it's a simple flow. The flow will check if the financial statements for a specific year has been submitted. If it's not been submitted, it will send you a reminder email until you submit a specific statement. So every Monday morning, before the guys come in, at 6 o'clock, it will run and it will send you a reminder. Please submit your financial statement, and it will just send out an email. Let me just drag over the email quickly. So the email looks like this. It will send you a link, it will send you all the information, and you have to submit your statement. Okay, I'm just going to close this. Okay, the link will actually take you through to a landing page. So this landing page is just a normal SharePoint site. We'll have some lists on the site, so it will have all the subsidiaries and all the financial statements that's been submitted. So when you click on this link, it will take you through to the Power App. Power App is a simple Power App. Vanessa and myself had this discussion. Should we show something cool and advanced that everyone wants to see, or should we show something that someone can relate to? So a simple app, we made a decision to show a simple app. So this app is just, there's the information button. The information button will take you through to a PDF. All the PDF does is just take you through the process to submit your financial statement in the format that the guys want. Okay. So you can go on. You will only see the financial statement or the subsidiaries that you have access to. So that specific subsidiary, there's already 2 financial statements submitted for it. So you can either view it, okay, and edit it, or you can go back and submit a new financial statement. As easy as that. And you can do all your attachments, all your artifacts that you need to do for the support of this financial statement. As soon as you save it, it will kick off a workflow. Okay. So all that workflow does, it will send out an email to the guy that was the preparer of that financial statement, and just say thank you for submitting your financial statement, and it will send an email to a technical reviewer. So that technical reviewer needs to review it. They can either approve or reject it. If they approve it, it will just send an email to the auditors and also the preparer and say the statement has been finalized and nothing else needs to be done. But if they rejected it, it will follow the same process. So you have to go into the app again, you have to edit or add additional artifacts, and then update it or submit it again for approval. Okay. And so in the approval screen, when you go to the approval screen, you click on approve, as easy as that. You can link through to the document, check out a document, and just put in your comments if you either want to approve or reject, and then confirm. And it's easy as that. It will send out an email to that specific preparer and say it's either approve or reject. Okay, we can switch back to the. Okay, now it's just looking ahead.
So I think looking ahead for us, we'd love to see business empowered to be able to drive their own change within their own areas, as well as us support them from a Centre of Excellence point of view. So it's not just doing it business on their own, we're doing this with business. And our Centre of Excellence is really focusing on how do we enforce and ensure those environments are set up? How do we put the compliance and the security things in place so that they're able to manage their own app? But also when they need to focus on something that's really complicated, they come to IT and we build those for them. And we have a nice IT support that is supporting that function. So business looking after business from a simplicity point of view, and IT monitoring and managing those apps that are a little more complicated. We're never playing in the space of the environmental apps. And I think for us the journey is we can only go from strength to strength. Our motto is every day is a hackathon. Every day we're learning something new, and every day we're seeing a new challenge and growing through this. So I think and I hope that you will also take this journey with us and see and find the experience that we've had and enjoy it. It's a really good ride, and I think there's lots of nice support that you can leverage off of. The Microsoft team, the community forums, they're all great places and sources of information to get information and content. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.